Now, finding the absolute extrema on a closed interval. Now, first, finding the absolute extrema. To find the absolute extrema, it means the absolute max or absolute minimum. We need first find the critical numbers, and usually those critical numbers we find them by finding the derivative of equal to 0. Number 2, check the critical numbers and the endpoints of the interval. We check them in the function to know which one is the maximum, which one is the minimum. So let's start with the first. So f of x is equal 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 12x plus 5. So we will find first the derivative, f prime of x. So since here it's a polynomial, we can apply power rule quickly. So it is 6x squared minus 6x minus 12. We did the derivative of each one of those. We make it equal to 0. Then equal to 0. All of them, they have a GCF. 6 can be divisible by 6. So 6x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So we will write it down here. Minus 2 equal to 0. Now we can also factorize those two. So x squared minus x minus 2. So it is x, factors of 2, it's 2 and 1. We need to subtract the minus for the biggest, minus b minus, it's positive. Now we have 3 factors here, but the first factor has no x, so no need to talk about it. We just take x minus 2 equal to 0 and x plus 1 equal to 0. So x equal 2 and x equal negative 1. So those two are called critical numbers. We found here the critical numbers. Now, in order to check, since negative 2 and 4, we have a closed interval. So negative 2 and 4 are included in the interval. We need to test them too. We need to check. So we need to check f of 2, f of negative 1, f of the interval negative 2, and f of 4. So the first two are, we got them from the critical numbers, and the second two, we got them from the closed interval. And those we are, if the interval is closed, we just include them. So now we will substitute in the given function. So it is 2 times 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 plus 5. So the first one is negative 15. Now substitute the second. So this is it's 12. Now substitute negative 2 in the first function. It is 1. So it is 37. Now we compare those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. The biggest one is 37. So this is absolute maximum. And if we compare f of 2, this is called the absolute minimum. Again, we have, for this function, we have absolute maximum and we have absolute minimum. Again, whenever they ask us about absolute extrema in a closed interval, absolute extrema, it means we need to check the critical points by finding the derivative and then making equal to 0. Now, since the interval is closed, usually we just check the critical points in the function to see who's the maximum, who's the minimum. But since the interval is closed, we take the endpoints with it. We did the first derivative of this function normally using the power rule. We found that 6 is a GCF. We divide all the 3 terms by 6. So 6x squared divided by 6, it's x squared. 6x divided by 6, it's x. And the 12 divided by 6, it's 2. Now, also this one, we need to factorize it. Either you do the factoring like that, or you can use the calculator factor by using the calculator mod 5, 3. It will give you directly those numbers, 2 and -1. So those are called the critical numbers. Now we need to substitute them in the given function, plus into addition to the interval, the endpoints of the interval. So those are the endpoints of interval. Now we compare the result. The maximum, the highest value is the absolute maximum, and the lowest value is the absolute minimum.